Okay, so we're in the basement, and here on the laundry table is at least a very close to a working model of what I was thinking of for this repeatable straight cutting guide for my plasma cutter. So what I ended up doing, remember I was going back and forth between these 3/16 rods and this other rod here. And I have everything tacked on or screwed on, so I could still change my mind. But I was wondering which would be, stiffer or, and I think actually, now that we're seeing this, you'll see in a second, I think these might give us more rigidity in this direction. But you'll see that in a second. So my problem is I can't repeat any cuts. If I just use this, I was using this in fact as a straight guide, and I would clamp it down, and I've cut into it in several places because I would just go up over the edge first of all, and once I take it off, I cut a 6-inch piece, and I got it pretty close to 6 inches. With the plasma cutter, it's, depending on the usage of the consumables, it can be a little off. But if I put it back down on that piece of metal, I am not getting the same size piece. The next strip of 6 inches is not going to be the same as the last strip of 6 inches. So it's 1/64 of an inch off, a 32nd of an inch off. It's off. It's different. And it's a pain in my ass. So I want the same kind of repeatability that I have on the table saw. If I cut a piece of wood on the table saw and I leave the fence where it was, then I can come back and cut another piece of wood and it's exactly the same. There's no difference. So that's what I want here. So I've got these rods which keep things aligned, and this screw which will, in theory, keep it from moving this way. If it was just these rods, then maybe it could move a little bit, but this is not turning unless I turn it. So at least the center of this is not moving anywhere by itself. These, if I don't tighten these set screws down, then maybe it moves, but the center's not going anywhere. So, and turning this thing, I can have a crank on it. I can sneak up on my cuts is what I can do. And not only to stabilize it, but I can sneak up on things. So I can move back and forth with this. Alright, now this, I don't expect this to stay perfectly aligned like my table saw fence. I do expect that to be the same front and back. But this, I don't expect. But let's say I'm making a 10 3/4 inch cut. I can take this and measure it, and it's not exact, so I can kick that one out a little bit. Alright, 10 3/4. Boom. I can, measure both sides again. So I have this space. Whatever I need from here to the center of my thing, center of my plasma cutter, I can measure, I can get it set up, and then I can lock these down. So now I can make a cut, I can take this whole assembly and take it off the steel, put the steel aside, do whatever I need to do, and I need another piece of 6 inch or 10 3/4 inch steel. Well, let me take this off the wall, put the steel back where it was, because many of us are working in small spaces, and my garage is not that big. Once I have a washing machine in there, I have all kinds of things that I have to have in there. So you'll see this has a bend in it, but that's okay. We can fix that. I can put the steel back, I can put this back, and it's going to give me the same cut. That's what I want. And I believe that that's what I'm going to get. I have a longer piece if I want to cut a much longer. If I want to, if I need to get a 24-inch cut. Well, this isn't going to do it. From the center here, where my plasma cutter is going to be, I would have to come all the way out to about here. So I would need a longer rod. So all I do is loosen these set screws, drive this rod out, put a longer rod in, and I can do the same for these. I can shorten these, so I can have two sets. So I can have a shorter length of these, for cuts between, you know, 0 and 22 inches. And then I can have a longer set up on the wall for cuts between 20 inches and 36 inches. And I'm not going to cut more than 36 inches because I can't handle pieces of steel bigger than 48 inches. So I can just go from the other side if I need, you know, a bigger cut. So even really just a smaller piece, if I can get 26 inches on this, then I'm done. I can go from either side. I don't need these extra long rails. You know, if I ever do get a bigger piece of steel, I could use a bigger rod. So that's what I've done. I don't like how this racks, really. I might unscrew these and put, that's why I screwed them on, and these are just tacked on, so I can cut them off. I might put those on and then use these rods. They're hollow, but I got some parts at this scrap thing. Some auto parts dealer was going out of business. So they had this warehouse, this garage, I think, and the scrappers got there before me. But I got a bunch of parts. I got valves and some cylinders and some rocker arms and some rods. So I cut the ends off the rods and I put them in here and welded them shut. So they're as rigid as a tube, but they're heavier and weldable if I need to with that in there, now that the inside is filled up. So I think this will give me more rigidity than these two. But we'll see how it goes. The holes should line up, and you know, like that. So anyway, there you go. I can loosen that up before I do that. How about that? I can. Alright, now I need that size of a cut. Alright, well, there you go. Done. Take it away, put it back, same cut. You know, once I've measured these. So, there you go. I do have to cut, you know, a hole here and make a little bracket to hold the saw. But the whole thing is removable. Don't look at my aluminum welds here. Welding 1/2 inch to 1/16 of an inch is not so easy, especially with my questionable welding skills. But there you go. So if you can think of ways to improve it, then let me know, because you know, this is just the first iteration of something. I need repeatability is what I need. So if we can make it smaller or lighter or something else over here. I don't know. I saw some that used angle iron, and I'll put this, so this may sit up above, so I'll put this here. I'm going to weld that on there probably, so that this will have a lip here, so that this will sit down over, I don't have anything, so that it will sit down over our piece of steel, whatever we're cutting, so that it will butt up against here, and this will sit on the surface like that. I know you can't see that from that side, but let's pretend it's the opposite. So here's our piece of metal. This will sit on the surface and it will butt up against the back. So this is, both sides of this are parallel, and this is parallel this way. These are parts of an old baby gate that I found on the side of the road. So yeah, if I had some plastic washers, I would put them in here. There you go. So help me improve it if you think of anything. You probably have lots of ideas, because I'm not, you know, so experienced. All right. If I get it, you know, when I use it, I'll show you it again.